What's on the big board? What's on the big board?
And good morning. Welcome in. The Ag Up Equipment text line, 601-885-3776. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 1059 The Zone. We're streaming live on thezone1059.com. You can watch the show right now on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. And you can watch it on Facebook. Search the Out of Bounds Show. Steve Robertson at 7:30. Tom Luganbill at 8:30. Both on the Pirate, Mike Leach. And they'll join us on the Yuengling Lager guest line. The Yuengling Lager guest line. And breaking news out of Starkville yesterday morning. Director of Public Affairs at Mississippi State, Sid Salter, started tweeting out a press release describing, to a certain extent, what had happened to Coach Mike Leach, including the fact that he had a personal health issue at his home and was eventually transferred to UMC. From there, rumors were flying, although I think the longer it lingered, when you didn't get anything good at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock last night, you didn't feel good about it. He had been battling pneumonia. He told ESPN throughout the season. Some said even before the Auburn game. Not sure the timeline matters that much at this point. But, and I think most of us could tell that his respiratory system, and this is getting way out of what I do, continued to get worse. And his cough and so on, and then who knows what happened, whether it was a stroke or a heart attack or whatever or something else. And we're all waiting word from UMC and the Leach family. According to Steve Robertson, late last night, his son and daughter, or one of his daughters, his son and one of his daughters had made it to Jackson and UMC, and the other two were en route. So we all know that you don't get transferred like that unless it's serious, and you don't call in the kids unless it's serious. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 1059 The Zone, ESPN. Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line is 601-707-3750. Twitter handle at BoBounds. And Mike Leach was up until yesterday morning preparing his team to play in Tampa in the ReliaQuest Bowl against the Fighting Illini and Brett Bielema. Mike was coming off one of his biggest wins at Mississippi State, a road win in Oxford in the Golden Egg. We have talked ad nauseum about Mike's ability to win on the road, and Dave Bartu has called him a walking upset. And he did that 4 times on the road so far as the head football coach at Mississippi State. He won as an underdog at LSU, an underdog at A&M, an underdog at Auburn, and an underdog at Ole Miss. You look at the history of the Mississippi State record books, not many coaches did that in the first couple of years. Maybe Jackie Sherrill. And so, people want to know, and do I think I know some things? Yeah, but I'm going to tread lightly and carefully. So this is ESPN 1059 The Zone. We're streaming live on thezone1059.com. Bo Bounds, Blake Scott with you on a Monday in what is a very, very odd and weird show as we cover a sitting coach who is in critical condition in the hospital at UMC. Blake Mania?
Yeah, it's unprecedented as far as I'm concerned in modern, football times, especially at this high of a level. I mean, we obviously know of terrible things that happen, and we've had assistant coaches and things like that, and that's awful no matter who you are or what you are. You don't have to coach. I mean, let's be honest. Anytime someone, loses time on their life, that's an unfortunate event. But a sitting head coach at Mississippi State or Ole Miss, you and I were talking about this. It doesn't happen.
No.
And so, Mike's 61.
Which is not old this day and age.
But by no means was he the epitome of good health, and we understand that. And so it's, it is an unprecedented situation to find yourself in. And yet, as you said, and this is the part that is such a tough thing to swallow, is you have to continue moving forward.
Yes, you do.
Because the Mississippi State football program still exists.
Just like that small business.
And each day still keeps going.
That's right.
And that's the tough part for those around Leach. And I wouldn't want to, the players, the other staff. I mean, some of these staff members have been with him for over a decade, right? I mean, they're family.
Right.
It's a really, really unfortunate, sad moment for everybody. And obviously we hope that he pulls through and that miracles can happen. But, if they don't happen, it is, I think it's important to remember all the awesome things that Mike Leach did, not just at State, but like we said, in college football in general.
Oh, man. Going all the way back to Iowa Wesleyan when they started disrupting the sport, Blake, and then took that job at Valdosta State in the South. And in Swing Your Sword, he talks about, it's such a great book. And in the book, Swing Your Sword, he talks about when they took the job at Valdosta State and they went down to the local cafe, how the guys there were like, that offense won't work here. You got to pound the football. You got to run the rock, baby.
You got to pound it.
And they ended up, setting records and being nationally ranked and upset. Was it North Alabama at the time? That was the powerhouse at that level. And one thing led to another, and they ended up where? In a league that definitely needed a little bit of a rebooting.
Yes.
Because the only guy that had disrupted it, really ever, was Steve Spurrier. And by the way, Mike's story and Spurrier's story is intertwined. It's connected because when Leach and Mummy are hired at Kentucky, and Kentucky was, dog poo-poo, Mike Leach and Mummy made Tim Couch a national sensation, right? And at that time, it was Rick Pitino and Kentucky basketball, and that's it. And they went on to disrupt the Southeastern Conference. And what happened during those 2 years that Mike Leach was at Kentucky? Bob Stoops, the defensive coordinator at Florida, had enough. And he was like, okay, year one, he did nothing. Year two, he wore me out. And legendary Bob Stoops, filed that. So when he took the Oklahoma job, what happened? Bam. Mike Leach gets hired at a Blue Blood as the offensive coordinator, and the rest is history because what had Oklahoma done forever? They had run the triple, the wishbone.
Yeah.
And run it well. But they were on about an 8-year stretch of not winning. And Leach put them on the map. And who was the first guy he signed? None other than Josh Heupel, the head football coach at Tennessee. That was Mike Leach's first recruit.
Yeah. Can't make it up.
At Oklahoma.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Now running it, Sonny Dykes.
Sonny Dykes.
The Bryles family. Lane Kiffin.
Lincoln Riley.
The NFL.
Lincoln Riley spent 7 years under the Pirate.
Yeah. If you look at the NFL and you talk to people who are way smarter than me about schematics, people like Steve Palzella, they'll tell you the air raid route concepts, the air raid passing concepts. I mean, that's almost what everyone runs as far as passing games in the NFL. It's all based off of those kind of passing schematics.
Yeah. Long live the Pirate, my man. He joined us in studio, which was cool. I've been able to break bread with him, which is cool. And we'll see. We'll see. Steve Robertson coming up next on the Yingling Lager guest line. The show is powered by Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center. The latest on Mike Leach, Steve Robertson coming up next on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9, The Zone.